Hello, here's Philosophies 8. More philosophies, insights, perspectives, paradigms, and opinions from Charlie Spittle. When you see a question about number and letter sequence, skip it and come back when you've finished all other problems. Charlie Spittle. The ultimate weakness of violence is that it is a descending spiral, returning violence with violence. Only multiplies violence, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you try to bribe me with power and conditional friendship to endorse Christ as a deity, I'll be offended and I'll take it as an insult to my intelligence, to my honesty and integrity, and my sense of the truth. Please don't do this. It's disingenuous and not real. And if you haven't known me by now, I'm all about reality. Charlie Spittle, December 20th, 2009. I'm conservative personally in attitude and behavior and speech, but liberal in my political dispositions, at least most of them anyway. Charlie Spittle, December 25th, 2009. Sometimes a man has to be big enough to know how small he is. 3:10 to Yuma. It's man's nature to take what he wants. That's how we're born. 3:10 to Yuma. Every way a man is right in his own eyes. The Lord ponders the heart. Proverbs 21. Revenge is a lazy way of mourning. The Interpreter. Do not let your memories kill you. Good memories can save your life. The Punisher. Trust your instincts and intuition above group think and social proof. Charlie Spittle, January 8, 2010. You can't have the people you want on TV. If you can't love the one you want, TV or movie stars, love the one you're with. TV is all about flash and looks. Real everyday people do not look like those you see on TV. Every day, people in normal reality are not good looking. They're average looking or ugly like me. Try to see the inner beauty in the people in your everyday real life. Charlie Spittle, January 8, 2010. We never really grow up. We only learn how to act in public. Anonymous. All truly wise thoughts have been thought already, thousands of times, but to make them truly ours, we must think them over again honestly, till they take firm root in our personal experience. Johann Goethe. The imagination exercises a powerful influence over every act of sense, thought, reason, over every idea. Latin proverb. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Confucius. The best thing you can do to an enemy is to turn them into a friend. That's why they say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Just like my situation with Wendy's. I purchased some of their products out of good faith and I turned antagonism to praise. Just like if we pardon Osama bin Laden, change him from an intimate mortal enemy to a remote but respectable acquaintance. Charlie Spittle, January 13, 2010. Being president is an ego trip. You can get just as much power being an advisor. You're not just in the spotlight. You're under the radar, not disturbed or distracted by the media. A clear and quiet environment and atmosphere to think and make decisions and choices. Being an advisor is potential power. It depends if the president will take and follow your advice. Charlie Spittle, January 14, 2010. If only I could be as good with numbers as I am with words, I could be a brilliant mathematician. Charlie Spittle, January 14, 2010. Right or wrong, legal or illegal, if a woman decides to have an abortion, she's going to have it. The question is whether it will be safe and not jeopardize life, and what about the baby outside of the womb and other children of that woman? Are you going to deny children their mother because she had an abortion and incarcerate her because of that? It's bad enough you're losing one life. Unsafe abortion jeopardizes the woman's life also. If abortions aren't performed correctly, you could irreversibly damage the reproductive organs so the woman can't have any future babies. How's that for pro-life? Charlie Spittle, January 14, 2010. The reason I believe Karl Marx was cynical about religion was because his father converted to Christianity from Judaism just to be socially accepted, and not because he truly believed in Christ as a deity. His belief was disingenuous and insincere. That's why Karl Marx said religion is the opium of the people. Charlie Spittle. Better an honest enemy than a false friend. Thundercats. There's nothing wrong with mistakes as long as you learn from them. Charlie Spittle, January 22nd, 2010. Don't play mind games, but because of mind games, it's like walking on eggshells. You have to be careful of what words you choose to say, as not to offend someone, and show that you're not playing mind games. Charlie Spittle, January 23rd, 2010. No one has stood against mind games, so I thought and believe that tackling it is what everybody wants but don't stand against. I don't care if I'm alone, because God plus one is a majority. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Charlie Spittle, January 24, 2010. Personally, I'm pro-life, against the death penalty, and a pacifist. Politically, I'm pro-choice and not a pacifist. I believe in just wars and wars for noble reasons, like to end genocide and ethnic cleansing. Charlie Spittle, January 24, 2010. I'm highly intelligent but have an average memory. I have to work for and to obtain knowledge. January 24, 2010. I don't believe in reinventing the wheel. I don't want any charity or humanitarian organization to be in my name. I just want to contribute to the ones already present. Otherwise, things being named in my honor is just a vain ego trip. Charlie Spittle, January 24, 2010. I believe in condoms and birth control pills in developing nations. That way we can use the funding to the present children instead of continually supporting newer babies. Just work on the ones that are already there. Charlie Spittle, January 24, 2010. Freud asked, what do women want? I believe the same things men want. Success, to be loved, and to love others, and peace. It's just the degree to which these desires are met and how they go about it and define these concepts and or ideals. Charlie Spittle, January 25, 2010. Activism is my rent for living on this planet. Anonymous. He profits most who serves the best. Rotary Club. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Pro-lifers should follow through the baby's life from birth to independent, responsible adult. Charlie Spittle, January 26, 2010. For Andrea, will you join me for a journey of a new world, a new tomorrow? Charlie Spittle, January 26, 2010. My disposition on principles I'm willing to share. My opinion or tastes or preferences I don't care to share. When it comes to style and trends, swim with the current. When it comes to principles, stand hard as a rock. Thomas Jefferson. Nicotine is 10 times more addictive than heroin. So, who's the real drug dealer? Try the government. Alcohol, tobacco, and pharmaceuticals. They don't mind you doing drugs as long as it's their drugs you're doing. Charlie Spittle, January 26, 2010. We have diners that are open 24/7, so we can eat anytime we want. Why not have fitness gyms and libraries open 24/7, so we can get in shape and sharpen, obtain knowledge and wisdom? God gave us bodies for working and minds for thinking. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. If you kill Osama bin Laden, you make him into a martyr. Tell me something. Was Jesus more powerful in life than he was in death? Think about it. If we can win Osama bin Laden to not hunt and fight us, I believe most of it, all his followers will fall in line and will truly have peace and turn a foe back to a friend. Besides, if we kill him, whosoever's next in line will replace him, but this time with a more inflamed, exacerbated, vengeful, acrimonious disposition to the U.S., because you have killed their beloved leader. Charlie Spittle, January 27, 2010. Trade quid pro quo, Latin for this, for that. Cut a deal with Osama bin Laden that he agrees not to kill any more Americans, while we pardon Osama and stop supporting Israel's apartheid of the Palestinians. It's a two-way street. You can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. The sun and the wind were having an argument over who could get an old man to shed his coat. The wind blew hard and cold, so the old man clinged harder to his coat to stay warm and prevent his coat from being blown away. Then the sun came out, and it was warm, bright, and illuminating, so the old man shed his coat to the welcoming, warm, and bright atmosphere and environment provided by the sun. Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer. We both want peace. We just have different ways on obtaining it. Like Nixon said, politics is the art of compromise. It's not about who started it. It's how we choose to mutually end this conflict. Charlie Spittle, January 27, 2010. The pardoning of Osama bin Laden should not be dictated by politicians, not even the public, but to the family and friends and relatives who lost those people, and that endorsement has to be unanimous. And I believe family, friends, and relatives should be financially independent and free, not as a bribe to get them to pardon Osama, but because of the simple fact that the passing of the victims in 9/11 means they are probably crippled financially because they lose the income that was being earned by those poor, unfortunate souls that died on that fateful day. I believe they should be compensated whether or not they decide to pardon Osama. The power is in their hands whether to pardon or not anyone else. And if there is one objection, then don't pardon Osama. Charlie Spittle, January 27, 2010. For charity and humanitarian causes, the money to raise is easy. Finding the recruiting the right people to help is hard. Charlie Spittle, January 27, 2010. Before we point the finger at the dark chapter of Germany's history of Hitler, Nazis, and the Holocaust, we should look at ourselves first. 10 million Native Americans genocide by our founding fathers, millions of Africans being subject to slavery, 3 million Vietnamese killed in the Vietnam War. I think it's actually 2 million. Before you take the speck of dust in my eye, take the plank out of yours. The Bible, January 28, 2010. God helps those who help themselves, above and beyond prayer, action. Charlie Spittle, January 28, 2010. How do you eat an elephant? Bit by bit. Break down a complex, convoluted problem to manageable small pieces. But some of the pieces are more difficult than others. That's where you ask for help. January 28, 2010. Any complex, long word can be broken down into prefixes, suffixes, and roots, and etymology as well when it comes to acquiring vocabulary and big words. Advice to those Jews in the media. There are 15 million Jews in the world and about 1 billion Muslims. The Muslims have you outnumbered 100 to 1. Is it wise to demonize them or just show the worst of them, which is a minority, in TV, movies, newspapers, radio, books, and magazines? During the 60s, Malcolm X disclosed to Mrs. King that he hoped Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. peaceful movement would succeed because he knew that if there was a physical, violent confrontation, that the blacks would lose because they were simply outnumbered. Charlie Spittle, January 27, 2010. This concludes.